Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to Hill Auditorium. On this Veterans Day 2015, it's my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Debbie Dingell, representing Michigan's 12th Congressional District. She was elected to the U.S. Representative office 1 year ago in November 2014. Ms. Dingell previously served as an elected official during an 8-year term on the Wayne State University Board of Governors. Debbie resides in Dearborn with her husband, retired Congressman John D. Dingell of Michigan, who was one of the final 2 World War II veterans to have served in Congress. Please help welcome the Honorable Debbie Dingell. Our next special guest is Lieutenant Governor of the state of Michigan, Brian Calley. The youngest lieutenant governor in the 50 states, Brian Calley was first elected to his post in 2010. Calley has worked in partnership with Governor Rick Snyder to play an integral role in Michigan's comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley.
It's our honor tonight to be together in a very nonpartisan way to salute our veterans. So we would now like to recognize those in the audience. If you are currently or have ever served in the U.S. Army, please stand if you are able.
Thank you. If you are currently or have ever served in the United States Navy, please stand if you are able.
If you are currently or have ever served in the United States Air Force, please stand if you are able.
If you are currently or have ever served in the United States Marine Corps, please stand if you are able.
If you are currently or have ever served in the United States Coast Guard, please stand if you are able.
Thank you so much for your service. We live in the greatest nation that the world has ever known, and we owe it to you. Thank you.
Our next storyteller tonight is Korean War veteran Robert Fletcher, better known as Fletch. He served in the last all-black Army regiment. It was so cold in the winter of 1950 that the unit's radios froze, and they did not get the message to fall back, leaving them stranded and without support on the mountain. Fletch was captured during a massive surprise attack as the Red Chinese entered the Korean War and was then held prisoner for nearly 3 years. He is a member of the Congressional Advisory Board for ex-POWs and is the past national commander for the American ex-POWs. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Fletcher.
Thank you very much. I see some friendly faces of people that know me for quite a while. I was 17 when I left school, I had about a half a semester to finish high school, but I figured I knew more than the teachers, so I quit. And my mother cried and said the biggest mistake you'll ever make was not finishing school. Well, back then, you know, you're a man at 17 and mothers have told you what to do for 17 years and you want to be on your own. I went into service in May 1st, 1950. I had 4 to 5 weeks of basic training, no combat training. I then was assigned to the Buffalo Soldiers, the last of the Buffalo Soldiers in Japan. I went to Japan. I was there about 2 weeks, or maybe 3. And one night we were called back to base. And we're told we had to go to Korea. And just about every single one of us said, "Where is Korea?" And the commander said, "Across the pond." Well, we loaded onto fishing boats. We didn't even have any LPVs or LSTs. We loaded onto Japanese fishing boats down in the hull and went to Korea. And please believe me, that is one of the worst smells you've ever want to get involved into. We landed in Busan. Then from Busan, we went all the way up to Seoul. And that's when we met the North Koreans. And we are thinking police action, nightsticks, no heavy combat. Well, they pushed us back to a little town called Yecheon, which is a fork off the main road. And we were told to hold at all costs. When we left, the mountain on the left, which we call hills, we call all mountains hills in Korea, because that's all there was. There were 39 of us still alive out of 250.
The beautiful sound of the Concordia University Choir with their performance of Lead, Kindly Light. Since the founding of Concordia Ann Arbor in 1963, the Concordia Choir has maintained a reputation of excellence in choral music and performs regularly both on and off campus. The Concordia University Choir is a select ensemble comprised of approximately 50 students from many academic disciplines of the university. Thanks again to this impressive choral group for their contributions to honor our veterans tonight. Many soldiers who was sent to Iraq and again. It's my great honor to introduce Brendan Lejeune, who served as a Marine in Fallujah and at the scene of some of the worst fighting in Iraq. He came home to earn a degree at the University of Michigan and a master's degree in war studies at King's College London. His story is the most recent and contemporary experience of our storytellers and was featured online in video as a part of Michigan Radio's Beyond the Battlefield series. Welcome to the stage, Brendan Lejeune.
It was just another day in Iraq when he was shot and killed. No dramatic battle was fought, no objectives were met. He was killed, and the war went on. We had just set up a patrol base in an Iraqi home once we forced the Iraqi family out until we decided to leave. We found places to lay our gear, 3rd Squad went on post, and the rest of us relaxed or got ready for our patrol. As I walked up to the roof, a single shot rang out. I thought nothing of it at the time. We had all been sniped at in this area before, and except when he winged one of our corpsmen, he always missed. The sniper was a joke to us. This time was different. The call for the corpsman went out. They were already with him by the time I got up there. I turned and ran down the stairs, yelling for all the drivers to get out to the trucks and get ready to go. My saw gunner and I started the trucks, and he backed his up to the door. While we waited, I reached under my flak and clutched the St. Patrick's coin that I always kept with me and still do. We all knew that he had been shot in the head. The wall around the roof was too high to have gotten hit anywhere else. Marines poured into the Humvees as they loaded him into my saw gunner's truck, and I took off driving the lead vehicle. The sniper must have been in the little market a few hundred meters down the road. As we came onto the road, the Iraqis scattered out of there thinking that we were coming for the sniper. One car tried to outrun us instead of getting out of our way as they knew they were supposed to. I yelled up to my turret gunner to shoot and get the car out of my way. And he yelled back, "You mean shoot the car or shoot the driver?" After the Battle of Fallujah, a seemingly endless stream of IEDs that wounded and killed my brothers, over a year in combat, I had, at this point, surrendered much of my humanity to fear and anger. So to my shame, to my shame, I yelled back, "I don't give a shit, just get that fucking Haji out of my way." My only thought at the time was getting our wounded brother to the surgical unit at TQ Air Base as quickly as possible. The turret gunner, of course, did the right thing. He first fired a flare at the car as the rules of engagement dictated. Only then did he fire a round into the back tire and the back bumper, forcing the car out of the way and off the road. We eventually reached TQ Air Base, and I remember the anger that I felt as we drove past a group of rear area troops. They were playing softball in civilian clothes, not a weapon in sight. Our brother was in the back of our Humvee dying as they played a game. I later learned that the men in the back of the Humvee with him had to hold the back of his skull together to keep any more of his brains from spilling out than already had. And our corpsman performed a miracle, keeping him alive. He gave him CPR the entire way there. Excuse me. He gave him CPR the entire way there as his body spit blood and mucus into the corpsman's mouth the entire time. After about 20 minutes after we finally got him to the surgical unit at TQ, the doctors came out and told us that he had passed away. They said that even if he had been shot on the operating table, he would have died. We wept. I hugged the corpsman as he repeated, I couldn't save him. I couldn't save him. Excuse me. I told the corpsman truthfully that if he couldn't, then no one could. I walked away from the others at that point, and I came to a sandbag wall, and I did my best to kick it down while I yelled how much I hated that damn war and that damn country. Later, they brought him out. They brought his body out in a body bag laden in the back of a truck, and we all gathered there, touching the bag for a moment. I touched the bag and I lost control. I turned to flee, and I ran into my old team leader, a very tall man, and I buried my face in his chest, and he hugged me as I kept repeating, he's in a fucking bag, he's in a fucking bag. I used to joke that we were like traveling bag people. We lived out of bags, we slept in bags, we ate out of bags. We went to the bathroom in bags, and we were put in bags when killed. It was no longer funny. My old team leader reminded me to be strong for his family, and I got a handle on myself. I once found him writing a love poem. I asked him who it was for, and he said, matter-of-factly, it's for the woman I love. Confused, I said, I didn't know that you had a girlfriend. And he said, I don't. Just because I haven't met her doesn't mean I can't write her love poems. That's the kind of man he was. He was 21. It was just another day in Iraq. Thank you.
Irving Berlin wrote our next song in 1918 while serving the U.S. Army at Camp Upton in New York. You'll know the song as the signature tune of Kate Smith from the 1940s and beyond. This evening it is our own Catherine Larson and her vocal performance, accompanied by Brian Altavote on the piano. Here is God Bless America.
For a land so
Catherine Larson, who happens to belong and is a proud member of the Rotary Club of Ann Arbor. We enjoy her voice at our lunches every Wednesday. Come and see her sometime. Jane is a fellow Rotarian as well and has been applauded by thousands and booed by millions. And he has been in practically every home in America via television. Well, how is that? Well, he was a National Football League official, one of the most cursed yet anonymous men in the world. And contrary to popular belief, he is quite normal in other respects. He is president of his own company and has crisscrossed the United States countless times each year, speaking for business and professional audiences of all kinds. Art spent 15 years as a line judge in the NFL and wore the number 33 on the back of his striped shirt. He officiated 4 NFL championship games and Super Bowls 6 and 8. Even more notable, Art served in the Third Army under General George S. Patton as a first lieutenant and later as a captain, supporting the armored drive through Nuremberg and across Nazi Germany to reach the Austrian border when Germany surrendered. At 94 years old, Art is still every inch the combat soldier and an excellent representative of the greatest generation. Let's give a warm Veterans Day welcome to Art Holst.
Thank you very much, Steve. That was a great introduction. How would you folks like to be following Catherine Larson after that beautiful performance? Give her another hand. And to Fletch and Brendan and Greta, thank you all for being here. Yes, I am going to be 94 years old. Now you know why you feel old age creeping up on you. But now that I've passed 90, my whole life's upside down. I sit down to eat at night, I feel sexy. I go to bed, I feel hungry. Andrew Jackson, our 7th president, once said, "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty." 75 years later, our 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt, said, "Speak softly, but carry a big stick." November 11th was set aside by President Woodrow Wilson in 1919 after the close of World War I and the Congress of the United States of America to be Armistice Day, to recognize those who served, but especially those who have died in combat since the Revolutionary War and extending at that time all the way up through World War I. In the intervening years, we have changed that to Veterans Day to honor all veterans. And I pause for just a moment to pay attention to the United States Marine Corps, who celebrated their 240th birthday yesterday. A hand for the Marines. Well, it all started for me in Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, when in 1939, as a 17-year-old, along with 2 of my buddies, Bob Kemp and Leo Munson, we enrolled at Knox and also enrolled in ROTC, Reserve Officers Training Corps. I think about a graveyard at the bottom of the sea and the unmarked graves in Arlington. You see, freedom isn't free. May God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. Please help me thank once again all of our veteran speakers, storytellers, for a wonderful night of compelling stories. Thank you very much for being here. Be safe and good night.